Hello, Vicky.
Hello, Vicky.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi guys.
Hi.
So do you guys is it okay to talk for a relatively longer time? Because I noticed that with everyone that came, you guys kind of because with Angelo it's oh 10 minutes. But with you guys, is it longer?
It can be.
It can be
Yeah.
for some people it's a longer thing that needs to be unraveled. For other people, it's just like they just need one pointer and then off they go. It's very different to give the same to everybody. We need to do different with everybody.
Yeah. We try to just
Okay,
stay
so
open for.
Do you have a long one?
I have a lot of questions. But you guys can be oh, that's time's up. It should be enough. You guys can say that. I'm not gonna be offended if you guys say that. But
Okay, but
because
I also just want to say that if there's something that we're not replying to now, you can come back on the 13th
Yeah.
and then we just take it there. You can
okay,
come
okay,
back
okay,
as many times as you want, and you raise your hand every single time. You're more than welcome.
okay, okay, okay.
So
All
so
right.
take
And
so take so go straight to the thing. What is the biggest issue right now?
the biggest issue right now is what was already talked about. But for me, I need more time to process it. What Caroline talked about. Caroline,
Yeah.
right? I think that's her name. She talked about feeling lack when it comes to a partner.
Yeah.
And when she said that and you guys were answering, I was just wondering bro, you guys are literally the perfect couple. You guys are both into non-duality. You guys are seem happy and it's just clearly you guys have something that we do not. So what is it that you guys
Uh,
Oh,
think you do you
yeah.
think that's
Well,
true or
yeah,
no.
yeah. Well, no, no, not that. No,
What?
no, 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 no. That we have something you don't is not true.
Not true.
No,
No.
what I was going to say is the reason we give that kind of advice is because we were both in the place of I wanted nothing to do with a relationship. It was never on my mind that I would ever be in a relationship. The idea of being married was like insane, like not even a remote possibility. Was not looking for anything at all. And Pernilla was
I
in the
have
place
I
where,
have been married and divorced, and I got kids and grandchildren. Or
oh,
in
yeah,
in January, I had children.
yeah,
And I was super happy in my life, really, really happy, not being a mom and not being a partner and just being on my own and doing my own thing. And I could get up and meditate in the morning, and I could, go to retreats whenever I felt like it. And I have, I'm very specific. It's very specific with my diet, what I want to eat and what I don't want to eat. Oh, can you mute? Oh, there's muted. Um, so I was not looking for a relationship either. I was so happy in my life where I was and doing what I wanted. Had complete autonomy and enjoyed that. I didn't miss anything in my life at all. Um,
and that's what we try to stress is that we were both in a place where we were just completely autonomously happy with life as it was. And then I had started a Fetter group, and Pernilla on the other side of the world had found out about the Fetter group, and we met, and it was just kind of like friendship, intellectual, curiosity. She was starting to work on the Awakening curriculum and had questions and my feedback, and we started talking. And the next thing you knew, we were in a relationship. And the next thing you knew after that, we were meeting. And the next thing you knew after that, we were married. And so it was
his friends are
like,
still grilling him because all of his friends, Todd was the one you should not get married. You
yeah,
should
yeah.
never get
I've
married.
been
So he's still
swearing.
being grilled about that.
So it was something where it was so not on either of our radar that was even a possibility, and it was nothing that we were like actively seeking or anything like that. We were just open to, oh, well, this is interesting. Oh, well, this feels right. And when she came here for the first time to visit, it felt like, normally when you have like a visitor in the house, even if it's family, it feels weird. Like you have like, a visitor in the house. It doesn't feel like home. And the second she was in the house, it just felt like she had always been here. And it was just, we've had this like ridiculous compatibility that is just so unique and abnormal. And we are so grateful for it. But it's nothing that we would ever like that we had even fathomed as being something that we would strive for or want or any of that. And so
And it's also because there's lots of compromise. I wouldn't compromise with my diet, and Todd
yeah,
wouldn't compromise with his diet. We're both Buddhists, so both of us are vegan, and we're very specific with what we eat and what we don't eat. And weirdly enough,
yeah, the
it's the
same
same.
diet.
It's the same. We had the same diet. So both of us also have that I'm not, if something should happen to Todd, um, I would still not be looking for a relationship.
No.
I can't imagine there's another Todd on the planet.
And
And so I wouldn't be looking for a relationship, and I would miss him, but I wouldn't miss a relationship because it's not that.
and I say that all the time that I don't think if I had never met Pernilla, there was no way I would be in a relationship right now. And like you said, if something happened to her, I do not see me ever being in another relationship. I just think there's something very unique about this particular circumstance that has led us to being in this particular unique relationship.
Yeah.
But it's not, yeah, it's just so strange. I mean, the good thing is it proves that it is theoretically possible, but I don't know, like it's so unlikely for us. We look at all the things that had to have happened for the two of us to have met
There
and
are
to be
like
so,
small things that, if I hadn't taken a left turn
yeah,
and Todd had taken a right turn, we would never ever have, this would never
we
have
would never have
happened.
met.
There's
And it,
so many things that had to fall into place for this to happen. And I can't even explain how it happened because we weren't looking.
so we are abnormally happy together, but it's because we were also very happy individually. And so, I mean, we have been together for a few years now,
Yeah.
and I mean, we're coming up to our second
Yeah,
anniversary
we
in a
almost,
week, two
yeah,
weeks.
been here for 3 years.
Yeah, and we have never had an argument. So it's like, there's
We've
just
argued once. We're still in
what people call the honeymoon
honeymoon
phase.
period. We still haven't argued. We're still not disagreeing about anything. But it's
So,
because both of us are comfortable with ourselves. There's not an ego in the way to, I need for things to be my way. There's none of that.
yeah.
So it just makes it very, very easy. And it's also why I also mean that, you should never compromise with anything. Be comfortable in you and be the person that you absolutely find attractive. I am gorgeous. I am amazing. I love my humor and I love, everything, and be absolutely fulfilled with your own company.
Mm.
And then if a partner comes along that is your best friend that completely agrees with you that, yeah, your smelly feet is adorable, then there you go. But it's not some I don't even know where I would have looked if I had looked for somebody because I was so not interested in a relationship and could not fathom that there would be anybody out there that is so particular with things that as I am. It's even to the point, when you are with other people and they're messy and you can't find your things because they're messy. We're messy in the same way. So even when he put my things in a place that they don't normally are, I can find them because I would probably put them there as well.
So yeah, it really, it's not about there being this perfect other person out there or needing to, find this other person. It's really, I think the key is having that complete acceptance and happiness of how you are, where you are, and then if it happens to unfold, just be open to it. Be open to seeing where it goes if you meet somebody, but without that need and that striving and that urging for that thing to happen, because whatever you imagine is never going to be what you experience anyway.
Mm.
And at the it might keep you from exploring a possibility because you didn't imagine that one was possible, or it might keep you comparing what is actually a really good relationship to one that you can imagine would be even better, and then
Yeah.
you miss out. I had no idea that a positive functional relationship was actually possible. So that wasn't even on my radar, but I was open to exploring it, which allowed it to happen. Um, so yeah.
And we are just immensely compatible.
Yeah.
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 We've even experienced dreaming the same things at night.
Yeah.
So we share dreams at night. It's so bizarre.
We have a very weird
We have a
relationship.
weird relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess kind of the theme or the like part of the takeaway is like I'm alone right now.
Mhm.
I'm like on my own right now. And that's like matter of fact, like that's just how it is right now. And if I was seeking a partner, then I would feel more suffering because like I'm at a state in which I don't want to be at right now.
Yep.
And but if you can be by your own and you can be happy, then you can be happy anywhere,
Yeah,
right? Because
Exactly.
exactly.
like you guys said, like even if my partner died, like I don't need another one. I can just be by myself and I can be happy.
Yep.
So like even if I found the perfect partner, like who you guys did, which you guys did, it seems like, and like even if they died, like what then? Like anyways, so what I'm trying to say is just like if you're okay with being alone, then you're okay with being like anywhere at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like is that kind of like what you guys are saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Equanimity.
Yeah, exactly. It's what we talked with Caroline about, having that feeling of autonomy in you. I am enough.
Yeah.
You know, I am enough. And Todd, he feels that he's enough. And then we live completely autonomous together.
And it is that thing where it's, you can't, like you were saying with Carolyn too, that you can't need for the other person to fix anything or
Yeah.
change anything about your experience. It has to be as good as it can be as it is by yourself. What we might find, I mean, what we found is that our lives were perfect as they were, and then they're actually a little bit better together. And we weren't expecting that.
I'm so much a better person after I have met Todd, because he just brings something really good out in me that I didn't know that I had, and brings another angle to life that I just didn't see. So I feel that Todd is making me a better person.
And I feel exactly the same from this side. It has been, so much growth on both of our parts since we've been together. But it's, there was no problem before we got together. And then we were just open to, oh, and then this changes and this changes.
Yeah.
And, but it doesn't work where it goes back to where, it doesn't make life before the relationship seem
Bad.
gray and worse or anything like that. It's
I
just,
actually think I can say that because I'm autistic, right? And I need my own space a lot. I need for people not to touch me and not to talk to me and to leave me alone. I need that a lot. And with Todd, he doesn't drain me. I don't have the need to be alone. I'm with him 24/7.
we're
It's
in
it's like
literal physical
it's
contact.
like that if I go to the bathroom, right, I can see something online and I'm so excited to come out and tell him. And I literally saw him 5 minutes ago. So there's like something non-draining about him because I am allowed to be me. There's no expectations on my shoulders for being any different than I am, which just makes it so easy to be with, because it's like being alone, if you can say, if you
Yeah.
understand what I mean. There's no expectation. There's nobody who's draining. There's nobody.
Mask or anything.
I don't have to mask. I don't have to be or do anything because he's completely in charge of his own,
Yeah.
emotional stability and reassurance and all of that. I don't need to do that.
Yeah, so like I guess like with you guys, like it's very clear. Like I was reading Be As You Are by Ramana Maharshi, and he says like, oh, like the like God or a higher power is the one that's truly running your body and truly making you function and truly like moving you around. And like you're not the one doing that, or like because you don't even exist. And then I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me. And then like, so for you guys, it's like, it's basically totally like conditions based that you met each other, because like the fact that you guys met each other is basically like divinely appointed, right? Like, would
Yeah,
you
I
guys
mean
say
it's
that? Because like,
Yeah,
I
it's Todd's
mean,
mom. I think it's Todd's mom.
yeah, I took care of my mom for a lot of years, and she passed away the year before we met. And yeah,
Yeah,
it was just yeah. So, but it's like our yeah. I mean, everything about this experience is one in unfathomable trillions or
yeah.
more. Like it's just it's really hard. We've gone through those mental games of like, and if she hadn't gone to blah blah blah, or if she had taken this trip to blah blah blah, or if I had not blah 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 and not created the blah blah blah, there's
None of
like
it would
no
have
option that
happened.
we ever would have met. It's unfathomable that and so
All the things that needed to be in place for this to
yeah
happen, it's like it's a puzzle that is so big that I don't even know how that happened.
yeah
But I think the reason why it works is that none of us plays anything on the other one.
yeah
Todd doesn't need to do anything or be anything. I'm very protective of him keep being Todd. So it's not that he needs to change or do anything to make me more comfortable and more happy. Um, yeah,
yeah.
and vice
Vice
versa.
versa. Yeah. Yeah, and that whole idea that people have about, needing to meet their partner it's like the other half of me to make me whole or something is such a problem.
Yeah, I was
It's
whole.
yeah, exactly.
I
We
was
have
whole.
to
I
be
am
whole,
whole.
and then we can be whole together, but
Yeah.
you're still whole regardless of what happens in that relationship. It's such an untenable position to be in that place where you need somebody else to fix or perfect you or make you, okay. It's like you've said earlier, it's way too much pressure on the other person
Yeah.
who has their own shit to deal with. Like because they're going to expect in that situation, they're probably expecting you to do the same thing for them. You know, yeah,
It's way too much to put on
it
another
is.
person's plate.
It is.
It really needs to be so. But when I have an issue, I come and talk to Todd about it, not for him to fix it, but see if he has any insight that I can use, not for
Mhm.
him to correct me or
Mhm.
come with a solution or anything, but just to ping pong with a friend
Yeah.
about this, just like we're doing now, where it's just like a ping pong back and forth. That there's no hooks into anybody who we have spoken with today that needs to do something that we
Mhm.
have said. If you come back and you've done the exact opposite, that's completely fine too. So it's having that openness for the other person. But you need to have that for yourself. You need to have unconditional acceptance to yourself for you to have that for another person. Oh,
Oh,
you're
you're
muted.
muted.
am I muted?
Yeah, now you're back.
You're good now.
Okay. All right. So, so basically, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So for you guys, like before you met, like, so what I'm interested in, what I'm more interested in is like, because like I know you guys are like amazing right now, which I'm jealous of. JK, I'm just joking. But like there was like how you guys were before you met, and I'm like there right now. So like, do you have to be awakened to like be to not care about not being in a relationship? Like because like I know like before you're awakened, there's this sense of like loneliness. There's this sense of like not being enough. There's this sense of like lacking something. And but after you're awakened, the loneliness like it kind of like expands and then goes away. So like, do you have to be awakened to be like satisfied with yourself alone?
No,
No.
no, no. And in fact, I wouldn't even say that it's a universal thing. Like for me, like I said, I hadn't been in a relationship for 20 years. Like it was, since college, I hadn't been in a relationship and it was nothing that I had any interest in doing. And I didn't feel lonely because of that. I didn't have that as just a motivating factor in life. And I was definitely not awake. I was just I mean, I was on the path, but you know, it was nothing where I would be like, I, I was had all sorts of other struggles and other suffering and lots of other stuff going on, but that wasn't part of it. You know, that idea that somebody else could do something for me to make me feel better in that way just wasn't part of my repertoire. Um, I think it's something that a lot of people experience, absolutely, but it's not necessarily universal, which indicates that it's something that each person can actually investigate on their own, because it's not just a human trait that is baked into our DNA. It's something based on the conditioning and based on, you know, your perception of you and your perception of what you think a relationship is and
Mm.
could be, and all of that is tied into the mental concepts around the experience.
But it does help, not self, not having
Yeah, yeah.
ego in the front seat. Could you do the curtains?
Sure. Right back.
It does help not having, you know, not being selfing, being completely aware that there's nothing I can blame, shame, or project onto Todd. And if he only did, or if he only didn't, then I would be happier. Having seen through that, it definitely helps in a relationship. That there's nothing that the other person can do or not do that will make you happy. And that is not a green light for abuse. You know, if you're in a relationship and the other person is, you know, taking an advantage of you, not, you know, blaming, shaming, complaining the other person, then, you know, avoid those relationships.
Yeah.
It needs to be an equal one.
Yeah.
So like, oh, sorry.
No,
It's
it's
okay.
okay. Go ahead.
So like, are you guys both like fully enlightened? Because like, I've been wondering this
No, but
because
what
like you
it's
you
such a great
teach the
question,
10
but what
fetters.
does that even mean?
Yeah.
What does that even mean? We can only say that we are enlightened if there's a comparison with something else. And then we're back to what we talked with Caroline about, that there is something right here arising in this moment that is full as it is. There's nothing missing in that. It's complete. So we can only say that we are enlightened or awake if we're comparing to something opposite and then we're in our minds. Then we are no longer in what is arising in this moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because like, because there's no one to be awake, right?
And what does it even mean to be awake?
We don't even know. I mean, there's no universal definition of what awakening even is or what enlightenment actually is. It's not just a tradition by tradition thing. It's a case by case thing. You know, there are it's one big sliding scale of a spectrum, and so you know we can have insights and um, we can have experiences that uh, show us that there are different ways of viewing the world, different ways of viewing our perception of what, you know, I am or what you are or what all of this is. But those have to be integrated and they have to, you know, one flash of an experience is not enlightenment or awakening or anything. It's a very slow for most of us process of reintegration, reconditioning the system. And so when we're doing like 4 and 5 Fetter stuff, a lot of it is reconditioning the reactive patterns and the craving patterns to see we can have some very clear insights that what I thought was craving actually is just a series of thoughts and sensations in the body. And actually, there is no need to act on those. And actually, blah, 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 blah. And we can have all sorts of insights. And little by little, they tend to get put into practice. And little by little, they weaken the structure of what we thought was the identification of wanting something or not wanting something. And we can become clearer and clearer. But as Pernilla said, the reason why we work with the Fetters as a wheel of identification is because each time you have one new insight about something, you're going to go back to some other aspect that you thought you had seen through and find that there's more subtle identification still there. And no matter what, I think there is a bottomless pit of identification that you can potentially see through. I don't think anybody is ever fully done and awakened full stop, and that's it. There's always more integration that can happen as long as we're
And
alive.
and and I actually think if you want to ask people the question, then a better question to ask is, are you awake or are you enlightened? Is to ask them, are you constantly content?
Mm.
Are you repetitively content? Because that is giving you more an indication of where they actually are.
Mm.
Because there is only one feeling, and that is contentment. It's the only feeling there is. Anything else is something else pulling you away from that. Because contentment is when there's no suffering, there is just a full acceptance of what is happening. And if I start to cry because something happens, there's a full acceptance of that. I have no wish of not crying. I'm just crying. There's like there is just that arising, and there's no suffering in it. It's what I'm talking about with you have a warm bath or you have a root canal. It's the same thing. Because in this moment, there's nothing missing. It's just a comparison with something else that I don't want. And that is where discontentment comes in. So I think if you want to ask people the question, are you awake or are you enlightened? Ask them instead, are you content?
Mm.
And if they say, yeah, mostly there are things I don't want, then you know there's more to be done.
Yeah, yeah. So going back to the previous topic about romance, because I have a lot of questions.
Sure.
Um, so I watch anime sometimes, I watch Netflix sometimes, I go on Instagram Reels sometimes, but like it seems like I don't really have a hobby. My biggest hobby, my only hobby is non-duality. And Todd just said like, oh, like go and find a person with like a similar interest, but like non-duality people like are very like hard to find.
Yeah.
And like I went on Angelo's community locator thing,
Yeah.
and sorry, and like it didn't really like, oh sorry, it didn't really like work out for me in terms of like finding like a bunch of guys that I could talk to that I might potentially be able to date. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I thought it might have worked like that, but it didn't work like that. So so like yeah, so like now it's like what do I do, man? Like I mean like obviously you can date people that are not non-dual,
Yeah.
but like
It's
I'm just
difficult.
like how is this good?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, go on.
well, I was gonna say, I mean, again, if we're talking about it from the sort of non-dual side of it, then you don't. You wait. You work on the stuff right now that is uncomfortable or that feels like it needs to be different, and which is driving you to,
Look
look
for.
for a guy and find a potential partner. On the other side of things, if just as a practicality, it's still fun and you want to date and do all that sort of thing. Um, it is important to have a very clear, well, it's two sort of sides of that. It's for one thing important to be really open with allowing things to just unfold. Like I said with us, it was completely unexpected. We didn't meet looking for a partner. We was just like I had a Fetter group that I was running. She was doing a curriculum on the Fetters, and it's like, hey, I'm making this video. Can we talk about, blah blah blah? And so it was just like mutual curiosity, and then it just kind of happened. um, if you find somebody that you know um, and you just are kind of open to whatever happens, that's one thing. But it's also important to, if you are looking to be in a relationship, to have some sort of guidelines that, like you said, you know if I was not vegan, it would just not have been on the table.
No,
Like there are.
I would have an issue with somebody that casually can kill beings, you
Yeah.
know, animals or people, like casually just, kill someone and eat them and find that great. I would have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with people and everybody who is a meat eater. I don't have an issue with you at all. But I would have an issue with having a partner that I'm sharing my life with that has that fundamental attitude to killing another being is completely fine. We are running around in the house letting ants out, both of us,
Yeah.
and that is helpful. It would break my heart if he was stomping on ants or killing a mosquito or fly, or I would feel it in me because I can feel the animal in me. So I don't have an issue with people doing it. You do you, you're fine. There's nothing wrong in that. But having that around me is difficult because it makes me so, so sad.
And so if you we talk to a lot of people who have been on this path who, maybe they were married before they got into non-duality or something, and the partner is totally not into it. And, they are, and that can be a real struggle.
Mm.
So recognizing that this does mean a lot to you and that this is your big hobby, and then aligning that you're not going to just settle to be with somebody, even if it doesn't fit. If they think you're crazy for this, but they still, enjoy doing other things with you, you have to really hold yourself in enough esteem that you aren't going to, put yourself into a potentially uncomfortable, toxic kind of a relationship, or at least where you're not fully able to be you. Like we've said, that why this works is that we're both able to just be how we are, and there's no masking, there's no need to be otherwise. I'm not watching the words that come out of my mouth and being, self-conscious about that, and vice versa. And for to willfully get into a relationship with somebody who doesn't share core values or core interests or beliefs, or something where you have to feel guarded in a way, is just a recipe for disaster eventually.
But it's basically like looking for a good friend.
Yeah.
Somebody that you would like to, put an IKEA shelf together with, you know, doing something that is super, super complicated and have fun doing it. If you are with somebody where it's a struggle and you can't be you, you wouldn't be friends with them.
Mhm. But it's really, you have to know your own worth, and you have to really value your worth as a person and your interests and all of that, and that needs to come first. That's why we stress so much having healthy boundaries and a healthy sense of self before doing the whole non-dual no self side of things, because that's really important in a relationship too.
To have clear boundaries,
Yeah.
yeah.
I hope you're still there. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're
Like,
frozen?
can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yep,
we cannot.
you're a little bit breaky, but
Yeah,
Oh
you're
yeah.
good.
there you are. There you
Let
are.
me let me go out. Let me go out of this warehouse. It's gonna be kind of cold, but let me just step out of it. Because the warehouse helping my sisters out right now. My
Mhm.
sister out right now, and her boyfriend. I mean her husband. So
Nice.
yeah. So let me just step
But I
out.
but I also
And
I
then you can
also
see the
think,
blue sky.
yeah,
Oh, nice. Oh, hello. There you are.
there you are.
You're back.
Yeah, yeah. Like, sorry, did you guys hear me before?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
could hear you. You were just a frozen picture.
Okay, okay. Can you see me now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you're breaking
Okay.
up. You're there.
yeah,
Okay, it's all right now, right?
Yeah.
yeah. You're a series of still
Okay.
images, but instead of like fluid motion, but we can hear you. Okay.
Okay, okay. So, basically, like, I'm kind of like worried, like, even with my normal friendships, because there's non-dual friendships and then normal friendships, like, even with my normal friendships, like, my only hobby being non-duality and how much I dedicate myself to it, like, when I'm not working, I'm just doing non-dual stuff.
Mm,
And like and like or like watching your videos, or like doing fetter work, or like doing shadow work, or like doing whatever work there is out there to do like non-dually. And so like I'm just like I'm kind of worried about like my current friendships, because about how they'll go. And I'm also worried that like in the future, like making friends, like will we like resonate with each other if they're talking about anything but non-dual stuff. And
But but
yeah.
Vicky, you're forgetting a super, super important thing, and that is that nothing is permanent.
yeah.
That interest that you have in non-duality now, it's probably just a phase
Yeah, it's probably meant
because
that.
it's not permanent. The normal phase that people have that we see in our groups is that people come in and they're super, super engaged and they are like all in, like you are, and it's all they do, and they breathe non-duality, and then all of a sudden they just need a break.
Yeah.
And then they pull themselves away, and we don't hear from them for, yeah, up to a year. and then suddenly they're back again. And that is healthy.
Yeah.
That is healthy. So you right now, something is happening in you where this just makes sense. There is a healing that is happening, and there's something that is falling into place for you. But it doesn't mean that this is how it is in 5 years.
No.
This
No,
is
no.
just how it is right now. So I would, you don't necessarily need to be concerned about the future. That is also projecting something on to a place that doesn't exist, and that future is a really, really bad one. It's like you can imagine anything, and then you imagine the worst case scenario. You don't have to.
Also, also the thing is, you know, so like for my path, right? I was on the Buddhist slash non-dual path for 20 some years. It's been about 27 years now. And through that period, I had like periods of intense practice where that was like the only thing. And like I went to school for music, and there were periods where absolutely zero interest in music. It seemed like the least relevant thing I could possibly do. The only thing that had any sort of meaning in life or value would be like reaching enlightenment. I had that idea of like sitting, meditating, inquiring, like enlightenment was the only goal. And that would go on for a while. And then I would get totally burnt out. And then I would have to live life again. And I would be playing music, and I would be writing, and I would doing other things that were also fun and enriching, and having like more mental activities and watching movies, and because the complete I had those periods of like asceticism that were just so no TV, no music, no blah, blah, blah. And it was too much. It was too much on one side of the pendulum. And so I kind of would swing over to the other side and counterbalance, and then have all the experience and watch films and all that. And all of that becomes much more enriching for our lives, so that by the time you get back to the practice side, you're bringing in more information. You can see things through different through different viewpoints, through different lenses. So the more you can actually experience the world, the more you can integrate the two. So what I find is like we watch TV, we watch, Netflix and stuff like that. But there's also always a thing where everything I take in is sort of grist for the mill. It's all fodder for talking about this stuff too. So when I'm in these talks or sessions or something like that, I'm always finding that like whatever we watched on TV at some
Yeah.
point is being
It's
somehow
being
filtered into a new metaphor that works to explain something else, because nothing exists in a vacuum. So if you find other hobbies that you're interested in, it enriches you as a person who is living a human experience. And it's also going to enrich the non-dual side of things, because you're going to have new ways of sort of metaphorically combining all of this stuff together to have new understandings.
Yeah, well, for example, I am obviously very interested in Buddhism and non-duality and awakening, all of that. Obviously, I'm also really interested in plants.
Mm.
And like Todd, he says that then when I'm with my plants and I'm washing the leaves and I'm changing the soil and sitting with the roots, it's done like a meditation. And like Todd, he's really into music. And when he's sitting and making weird music or playing his guitar or doing anything like that, then it's like also part of the practice, it's part of that meditation. So anything you do, just uh, if you're present in it while you're doing it, it keeps being alive. And the concern that you have with your friends and your future and all of that, it's not really taking up that much. um it's not really real. You know what I mean? Of course it's real if you are completely anal about it and you can only talk about non-duality, and when your friends come and say like I have this issue with a teacher, you go like there is no you, there is no teacher. Then you're just becoming an asshole. And so if you're like that, then I understand that you should be concerned about your friendship and your, because that nobody can,
No. But we do, whenever we get kind of hyper focused on one thing, it can be sort of exclusionary, especially if we've had friends for a long time and we kind of feel that branching off in different directions. And it's like, just can't relate anymore because I'm, really into this. And so it's helpful to Well, if you do have friendships that are long running friendships, and it is possible sometimes people just grow apart, and that is an expected part of life. And
Impermanence.
exactly. But it's also relevant to look into how can you also, bridge the gap right
Mm.
now. If it's a relationship that you still want to maintain and there's still something in it, then it's not just that they have to meet me where I am and share my experiences of being interested in non-duality.
How
How can
exactly?
I reach out and meet them with their experiences of what they're interested in and
How
find that common
how
ground?
can you take your practice into the relationship
Yeah,
without mentioning non-duality or awakening at all?
yeah.
How can you make this an experience for you where you are expanding your insight when you're with your friends?
Yeah, that's really good advice. Like, I realized that, like, with me and my interests, I kind of have neglected my friends and their interests.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I don't even really know what they're interested in because we haven't been friends for so long, but like, so I really need to like dig up on that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and like if we go back to the romance thing one last time, like if you guys have like if someone asked you like if you can only give one piece of advice about the romance stuff, like what would each of you say?
But you need to be specific what the question is.
Like if I said Pernelli and Todd, um when it comes to romance, what is the one piece of advice you would give that you think is the most helpful? Like what would
Okay.
it be?
You should make you happy. It's that there's a sutta that is called the bamboo acrobat. Do you know that?
No.
No. Okay. So it's an old bamboo acrobat. In the old India, they had like bamboo acrobats where they crawled up in the bamboo stick and did lots of acrobatics. And they're usually in pairs and doing lots of things. And there was this old bamboo acrobat. He got a new um acrobat to do tricks with him. And the old guy, he was like, okay, so now when we do our bamboo acrobat, I'm gonna focus on you and you're gonna focus on me, and then everything is gonna be safe. And then the young acrobat said, no, no, no. When we are doing our acrobatics, I'm gonna focus on me and you're gonna focus on you. And then both of us is gonna be safe. And that would be my recommendation with every single relationship that you're in, no matter what it is. Make sure that you are meeting you, that you are loving you, that you have strong boundaries, that you are making sure that all your needs are met. You are here for you. There is nobody that is born to do that for you. It's only you who can do that. It's basically, the airplane thing, taking your mask on first, making sure that you are living your best life the way that you want to live your life. And then if you meet somebody else, they will live their lives the same way. And then you can do it parallelly. Parallel.
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 I love that. And I very much echo that, but I would also say in a similar way that love and relationships are an inside job,
Yeah.
that you will never be fulfilled by somebody else because you are only ever seeing your perception of them. No matter who you meet, they are a reflection of parts of you because you are literally generating your avatar of them in your mind. So if you are not completely okay with the way you
Mm.
are going to project all of those insecurities and all of those problems onto that person.
Yeah.
And if you can't feel that sense of love in you, you will not feel that sense of love no matter how that person is trying to express it to you. So you really have to clean up your own projection system, basically. It's getting really okay with who you are and how you are, and recognize that however you see that other person, you are always making them out of in your image.
Yeah.
And so if you're not okay with your image, you are never going to be okay with anybody else.
I would like to change my answer and say what he said.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you guys so much. And my last question is, um, what do you guys think about effort? Like, do you think like 100% effort in like in the surrender sense? Because like if you're putting in 100% effort, then you're kind of fully surrendered. But like you have to put in 100% effort to be awakened. Because like for example, like I need to maximize my time in reading non-duality books and doing self-inquiry and make sure that I'm doing something like every or like doing or like doing self-inquiry like every second of my day. I mean, not every second, but
I know what you mean.
every 2 minutes, like every 2 minutes or like every 3 minutes, or like I have, but like it doesn't have to be that hardcore, but it has to be hardcore. Like it has to be hardcore, and it's like you have to devote yourself entirely to this practice, and it has to be like very like in some ways difficult, and but you have to maintain it. Like it can't just be like, oh, like I'm just gonna live intuitively and like do whatever like I feel called to do, and if it's like just sitting around watching Netflix, I'll do that. And like if it's but in the hardcore practice, then it's like no, you have to like be reading or like doing self-inquiry or like meditating. Like you have to be doing something. So like what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, do you want to go first?
Yeah, do you mind?
No, no,
Oh,
off you go.
okay. So,
I
well,
have a lot to say,
no,
but you're probably gonna say it.
no, well, so because I've been in those positions too, so I understand. There is a drive that seems to be sparking that need for, hardcore striving. And yes, there are certain benefits to meditation and routine meditation, and there are benefits to inquiry and routinely doing inquiry. There are just, the more you practice these things, the more they get ingrained in the system, the more it changes the neural pathways in the brain, the more all of this is kind of beneficial. However, if you come at it with that basis of striving, if of force, of efforting, ironically, the brain regions which are creating that sense of direct effort and doership and agency are exactly the ones which are creating the sense of self. You are completely defeating the purpose of seeing through self by maintaining that sense of constant efforting and agency. So it's finding that balanced middle way between where you have clearly an interest in this, you clearly have, passion for it. Can the passion be the driver
Mm.
without having that mind come on and say, "Oh, but you should be doing. Oh, wait, nope, you shouldn't be watching Netflix right now. You should be reading this book. You should be watching that video instead. You should be."
Mm.
Because it's all of that that is creating this extra tension of doubt and selfing that's making it seem like I'm not okay where I am. I have a goal. That goal is out there. I'm going to improve to get that goal, but only if I work really, really hard. And that plays into a lot of our conditioning because in school and in families and all that, we get taught you have to work really hard for this thing and it's on you to do it. Instead, yes, absolutely. If you meditate, if you do inquiry, it, increases the chance. Like I think I forget who originally said it, whether it was Suzuki or who was it originally said it, but that enlightening is an accident, but meditation makes you accident prone. It's that idea that like you can't force it. It is something that is happening on its own. The more you practice certain things, the more likely that is to happen. But it is so easy to self defeat
Mm.
the whole practice by just forcing, and play like you don't realize that you're playing into the ego when you're doing that. But it's that you probably, if you find that you're doing it in the non-dual space, you can probably go back in your life and find other places that you've had that same sort of egoic striving in control. And we tend to do the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. So we tend to just kind of, like you always say, copy and paste one aspect of our personality onto another. So it's very likely that you have done it in the past and you are just doing it now with this version of an interest. Um, so it helps to do the practices, but see if you can breathe, step back from it, find if you are truly being motivated to pick up the book or watch the video or sit and meditate or do a moment of inquiry, or whether there's this extra little like third fetter thing going on in the mind that's saying, oh, but you should do it because if you don't, either something bad is going to happen or you're not going to get the good, result that you're wanting. And like I had because of my kind of diverse range of backgrounds of interest, one of the kind of most uh, effortful was when I was getting into Tibetan Buddhism, and you hear those the parables about how you're you're really trying to get enlightened in order to escape from samsara and never be reborn into that cycle again. And it's stressed that this is your sole human birth, that you like they say like the likelihood of having this human birth is like a turtle floating in the middle of a massive ocean, and every 100 years it pops its head out of the water, and if there's one life preserver floating somewhere in that ocean, the likelihood that the turtle pops its head up into that life preserver is the likelihood of you having a human rebirth, then like you damn well better make the most of it. And so that was what was really like this like driving force, but it was so not helpful fundamentally. It got me on the cushion, but it creates so much inner tension and worry and strain and struggle, and ironically reinforcing the ego and the one who could die and be reborn and the one who it ultimately had to be let go of.
And what I would do is ask you, to remember that the only feeling you can have is contentment. So when you do not feel contentment in this moment, be curious. What is it that is pushing you to that forcefulness of effort? Because there is right concentration and there is right effort. I absolutely agree with that. But the right effort needs to be not forceful. It needs to spring out of a non-doing, so to speak. And that doesn't come by lying on the sofa watching Netflix and eating potato chips, you know. But there's a contentment in this moment where nothing is missing and nothing needs to happen. And if you feel a third feather pull towards doing something, be curious, what is that reflecting back to you about? What is it right now that can be improved by reading another book and watching another video and meditating for 2 hours, and maybe you should do 2.5 hours next time? And what is that you're trying to improve on? If everything is as it should be and nothing can change and nothing should happen, what is it you're striving for? Where is that contentment in that moment? Because we would like for you to be in that 9 feather flow where there's just a natural flowing towards the cushion, or a natural flowing for going for a walk, or a natural flowing for, yeah. So see if you can find into that contentment.
Yeah,
And it's not resignation. It's not resignation. I just want to emphasize.
yeah, there's like this like fine line of like not being lazy, but also not be trying too hard,
Yeah.
the middle way. But like for me, like what this reminds me of is just like, oh, this is not going to be a question. I'm just going to make a remark, but it's just like I've been realizing that like it's all about living the moon instead of living the pointer. So like the pointer is like, oh, like you're human reincarnating and like you only get to be human like this many times, and yeah, but the truth is the truth is that you're already awakened, or like you're already are like
You're already
awakening.
content. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
already content. You're already here. You're already content. If it doesn't feel like that, be curious to why.
Yeah. Like I feel like it's about like the absolute side of things instead of like all the systems bullshit that
Yep.
that Buddhism has and like Hinduism has and like the saints talk about like
Yeah.
all this like crap that's like, like very much like covering the actual teachings up and stuff like that. So I feel
Yeah,
like I'm very grateful to you guys, and I'm very grateful to Angelo and like to recent teachers for like not talking in like bullshit terms, but but like, well, maybe I shouldn't call it bullshit, but it's just like very
No,
confusing.
but
Like,
I understand what you mean. I completely understand what
there's a
there's so
lot of
many.
cultural baggage and a lot of
Yeah,
things that have kind of come along with the really useful, pragmatic pointers. There's a lot of dogma, and there's a lot of like cultural accoutrement that have kind of
yeah,
are maybe not as relevant in today's society. That I think we can what we strive to do is to get really to the useful core of it and make it so it's just available to everybody without having to buy into one particular system or one particular tradition and align yourself with that.
yeah.
yeah.
I've
So
no,
moving, oh, sorry.
yeah, no. I just want to say I can feel I'm really
Yeah.
tired now, and I would like to speak with John as the final one. Would you mind, Vicky, if we take the rest of the questions next time?
Yeah. Sorry, like I kind of disguised my questions as remarks, but like I hope you guys don't mind.
No,
Oh,
not
no,
at
no,
all.
Thank I just want
It,
thank you
been
so
it's
lovely
much
chatting.
for
you're so welcome.
oh
It was lovely,
yeah.
lovely to meet you, and I would love for you to come back and ask more questions.
Yeah, I just said thank you so much and please move on. Please move on.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so much,
Vicky.
and
Really been a
happy
pleasure.
holidays and
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. We hope to see you
Hope to see you,
January.
yeah, in January.
Yeah, see you.
Bye.
Bye. We have created a course of our first Fetter material. This course will walk you step by step through all of the ways in which identification is created and selfing happens. If you've been struggling to see through the self structure or have that first awakening shift, this course contains hundreds of tools to help you discover the selfing mechanisms when they're happening, and then see through the illusion of identification that are created. Along with over 14 hours of videos, this $49 course contains a full book worth of summaries, extrapolations on the videos, written inquiry suggestions, and other text. So work slowly, leave time for integration. This is powerful material and it can be life-changing.